So this dupe fragrance has had a lot of hype prior to it coming out, and I've delivered over on TikTok, but I thought I had to get a video out for you guys on YouTube, so strap in. Yes people, what is going on YouTube, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name's TJ, and over here on my channel I discuss all things fragrances and the fragrance industry, so if there's any content you would like for me to create, let me know down in the comments. So if you guys have watched any of my other videos, you know that I don't normally sound like this. My voice is sounding hella husky, it's just coming back. I'm recovering from an illness. I do have the bottle of water on hand to help me throughout the video, so let's go. Bottle of water. So you may or may not have seen this bottle already, but I know for a fact you have 100% seen this. So this is another dupe from Fragrance World or French Avenue, who are absolutely killing the game now when it comes to dupes. And if any of you guys are interested in dupe fragrances, I think one of my last few videos I dropped a top 10 dupe fragrance in my collection list video, so if you guys are interested, I'll pin it up there. And before we get into it, one thing that I've noticed with dupe fragrances is the price is slowly starting to creep up and get up to designer price levels in some cases. Some are going up to your 60s and 70 pounds. And I think there's going to be a problem if that does continue to rise, because the only factor that people buy dupe fragrances for is because of the price. Because if they could afford the original or they wanted to spend that amount of money on a fragrance, I think, in my opinion, they would buy the original, so the price has to stay low. And just because I know some people are going to ask about these two fragrances here, let me just quickly include it now. So this one here, Liquid Brun, is a dupe of Parfums de Marly Altair. And I don't always recommend this, but I actually prefer this one to the original for the price and value for money. And in terms of this one here, Azure Oud, this is a dupe of Maison Crivelli's Oud Maracuja. I do think it's nice. It is close to the original, but I think if you want a tropical fruity oud fragrance that lasts a long time and projects really well, go for our Armaf's Club de Nuit Oud. And now we're done with these. But now onto this video. So the fragrance in question is called Coco Morado. It comes in this purple box here. It literally opens up like that. The fragrance sits right in there. And the bottle is identical. The lid came off. The bottle is identical to Liquid Brun and Azure Oud. And yeah, that is a close-up of the bottle. And here is a look at the atomizer. Not bad at all. And I'm sure I would have put it in a thumbnail, but Coco Morado by French Avenue or Fragrance World is a dupe of Masion Crivelli Oud Cadenza. So I was lucky enough to try this one at Beauty World last year, and I was with my boy Cologne Talk, and he hadn't tried this one. So I was like, cool, record my reaction. I sprayed it, and because I had the original in my collection anyway, I was like, shit, that's actually bang on to the original in my opinion. And because he hadn't tried this, he couldn't compare and be like, okay, yeah, this is 90% similar. So I just said, what do you think it smells like? And he actually rated this one. And I think he said when it comes out, he's going to grab it. And because we're talking about the dupe, I think it's necessary to tell you about the original. So if you're looking for a Maison Crivelli Oud fragrance, this is their Oud trilogy. So you have the most popular here, Oud Maracuja, which is your fruity tropical oud fragrance, projects long. It's an absolute beast mode. Then you have got Oud Stallion, which came out after. And this is a more animalic oud, but it's a more rugged, masculine, leathery fragrance more than anything as well. And then Oud Cadenza sits in between these two, as in, it's not fruity, but you got the leather combination in there, but it's much more sweeter and unlike these two. So when I first got this one, I tested it alongside the original for 2 to 3 days. And I think as content creators, we need to be really careful when we're talking about dupe or clone fragrances, because I feel like everybody just cares about the price, but I feel like there's so many more factors that come into why you should buy this over that or this over this one. So how I tested both of these fragrances, I sprayed the original on a test strip and I sprayed it on my right hand, and then I sprayed Oud Cadenza, the original, on a test strip and then on my left hand. And because my missus is quite familiar with this fragrance because I've worn it quite a lot and she smells pretty much everything in my collection, I said to her on a test strip, which one's which? Tell me which one's the original. So she picked. And then I said, all right, on skin now, tell me which one is the original versus the dupe. And both of them that she picked was Coco Morado to be the original. And I thought that was crazy. And her reason for picking this one is on the test strip and on skin, she said that this one smelled stronger than the original. And I actually agreed with that. When I was smelling both of them side by side, this one actually did smell stronger in the opening. And as well, she picked based off of the shine on my hand, which is normally an indicator of higher concentrate of perfume oil. So we obviously know that isn't the case. When it comes to this from Maison Crivelli, we know there's more perfume oil in this than this dupe fragrance, but I don't know why. Like, I sprayed the same amount from the same distance, and this one was shining more than the original, which is crazy. So anyone out there, please explain. So if you're thinking of getting Coco Morado or Oud Cadenza, then what you're going to kind of pick up when you do spray this in the air or on skin is they kind of list the notes as cinnamon, caramel and dates. And I don't really get too much of cinnamon and caramel, but I definitely do pick up the dates. And for anyone who uses a cream called cocoa butter, this is what this reminds me of when it dries down. And other than that, there's also some spices in there. So you're gonna get saffron, you're gonna get patchouli, and I feel like it's not a super spicy fragrance. It's more smooth than anything. And I would kind of class it as an ambery scent. And I don't know if you guys remember, but last year there was a huge fuss with Masion Crivelli because on their socials, the owner of the brand, Thibaut Crivelli, came out and said that in their oud fragrances, they do not use real oud. They instead use a oud accord that they make in the lab. And people are literally outraged by this because they're thinking, you're not using real oud, which is a expensive natural ingredient anyway, and you're charging us a crazy amount. It doesn't make sense. And by the way, if you don't know, these fragrances here are 50 ml, and I think the minimum that they cost is £220, which of course is pricey. But obviously that is what it is. We can't change that. But the reason I brought that up is because in the original and any of Maison Crivelli's oud fragrances, they have this really distinctive oud and leather combination. Like as soon as you smell it, you know it's a Maison Crivelli oud fragrance. They all share that same DNA. And obviously, that's going to be hard to replicate for a dupe fragrance brand. And does Coco Morado have that same oud and leather combination in this fragrance? Sadly for you guys, it doesn't. And literally, these are formulas that Givaudan or the fragrance houses who make fragrances for different brands keep secret. Nobody can have access to the formula. And even if a perfumer leaves, they cannot take that formula with them. So it's pretty distinctive and hard to replicate. But honestly, in my opinion, I think that is the only downfall of Coco Morado when it comes to being a one-to-one dupe. And if any of you guys are interested in seeing a sole review of Maison Crivelli's Oud Cadenza, I will pin the video right up there. And I always say, but I hate to say it, man, these dupes are getting really good. In terms of smell, it smells fantastic. Like it's very mass appealing. It's not too sweet, not too dark, not too light. It's literally a great balance. And I know loads of people like to hear likeness, like how close is this to the original? Is it 10%, 50%, whatever? In my opinion, I'm going to say this is 90% similar to Oud Cadenza. So let's quickly touch on performance because people want to smell good for long. So when it comes to the oud fragrances from Maison Crivelli, these are absolute beast modes, especially these two here, Maracuja and Stallion. These are going to get you 15 plus hours easily. If you don't shower, you're going to smell it the next day. And when Oud Cadenza came out after this, I thought we was kind of going to get the same performance. And I was kind of surprised because we didn't. And in that last video that I was talking about, I think I mentioned I got around 9-ish hours, and projection was good, but it wasn't as good as the other two. And with Coco Morado, I'm not messing about with you guys. In terms of longevity, I'm getting around 8 to 9 hours on skin. Obviously, on clothes, you're going to get a little bit longer, which is pretty similar to the OG. You might get a little bit longer, but again, I don't think it's that deep. And in terms of projection on my skin anyway, I think that Coco Morado in the first 2 to 3 hours is better than the OG, but the OG does hold its own in the later hours. And that sounds like a flipping fight. And again, I can't explain it. Chemicals, ambroxan, synthetics, I don't know, but this one projected a little bit better. And I beg you guys, believe me, I am a massive fan of the art of perfume, and I want these dupes to not be anything close to the originals because I'd rather say to you, buy the original, buy the original. But if it's not what I actually believe, I'm not going to tell you guys that. So yeah, I think you can buy Coco Morado over Oud Cadenza. If you haven't got the bread and you want to smell like it, of course, this is a great alternative. And one thing I'm going to say to you guys, I don't care what brand brings out a dupe of Oud Stallion, I will never say the dupe is better. And if I do, I swear to you, I'll delete the channel. I think this fragrance is special, man. And it's made even more special to me because I was able to go out to Paris with Maison Crivelli, visit Givaudan, chill with the perfumer of this fragrance, Jordi Fernandez, understand the creative process behind it, and actually be in a lab and see the chemist or the perfumer, I don't know what they're called, actually mix this up together. So me seeing that, I literally cannot tell you a dupe is going to overtake this for me. And if it does, like I said, there'll be no more videos. And I know a lot of the time people buying a dupe fragrance only comes down to money and not wanting to spend the big bucks. And I do fully understand it. We're not all fortunate enough to be able to spend 250, 300 pounds on a 50 ml of scented water. It is insane. So I know me talking about the fragrance, if you guys smell this, it does smell very close to the OG. I know most of you will probably end up buying this. But if you do have this one in your collection, let me know down in the comments. What do you think of it, first of all, as a one-to-one of Oud Cadenza? Drop that in the comments. How long does this get you on skin, on clothes? What is the projection like? Let everyone else know so they got kind of different opinions to go off. And that is a wrap. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching. If you're not already subscribed and you made it this far, just hit that subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds. And make sure to follow me on my other socials, TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat, all at TJ Talk Sense. I'll catch you in the next one. Love for the love, my people.